Vehicle control initialized.
Hey people, 5 Aces here and welcome to the Thunderdome, where 2 men enter and only 1 man leaves. Actually, it's more like a pit, but that doesn't stop me from making some obscure Mad Max references. But we're back on Pit Fight with a 1v1 that is gonna be happening between 2 recruits players, but those guys are up and coming. We've got in the top corner, spawning as the Brits, like he always does, Happy. He's a Brit in real life and is started playing this game maybe half a year ago. And he is definitely right now in the top 10 to 15 or maybe top 10 of players. Really good player, really strong. Only playing as Brits, he once told me that anything other than playing Brits makes him physically sick in this game. And his opponent is going to be a Soviet-only player. It's going to be WhoCares. We've seen him with Ukraine a couple times, good demo trucks, but now he's on Russia. So expect to see some Shockies. Now this is a bit of a balance preview by SoScared. A couple of words about that. SoScared is now the head of balance, basically, of OpenRA. Congratulations to him. And he's gonna occasionally pump out playtest maps that have altered stats for units or altered prices, whatnot, what have you. And then decide, based on player feedback, whether or not these changes are going live. Now these are some changes that I'm interested to see. First off, the War Factory scaling got completely changed. Usually it took like, if you got more War Factories, the production speed actually obviously ramps up. But it used to be the case that you would have to get, I think, 5 factories for that to matter. To get the max, oh now 7 even, to get the max production speed bonus, which no one ever did, because 7 War Factories is 14k, and you're better off investing that into something that actually shoots things. And this got changed, so the scaling is way harder now. So 2 War Factories actually already give you like a 25% speed boost on your production of vehicles. Also, as you can see here, the technology centers now have a use. That was something I proposed a long time ago, and I'm glad it got implemented. They now don't drain your power like they used to do, but instead they give you a nice line of sight. Nice bonus, like 12, 13 cells. Really good stuff, I'm loving it, and I love the model. It used to be used in campaigns, in the original. Oh, and WhoCares just attacking haphazardly into the oil derrick. Has a lot of health but heavy armor, so it takes a while. Still, you don't want to go near this. And interesting, War Factory first for Happy, met with a double refinery built by WhoCares. Wow, that's a couple riflemen that died from the explosion of the oil derricks. Anyway, a couple of more words about this. This is a map where you can easily get outflanked. There are 2 huge flanks on both sides, and it's really hard to keep track of this because the map is actually huge, so huge that it doesn't fit on one screen, as evidenced by me just flailing around the camera like a madman here, like a mad dog. So we are seeing scouts from both our players. They don't want any trouble there, because if your army is even slightly out of position, you're gonna send packing home by like some camp here, by someone camping your ore fields. You're gonna have a long way home ahead of you. So yeah, that's some early infantry aggression, still on 2 harvesters by WhoCares. Meanwhile, we have the scaling build by Happy, who is now on his 5th harvester almost. Yep, 2 for 5, nah, 3 over 5, 5 over 3. Not too bad, but still slightly bad. Let's put it that way. Technology centers don't have a health buff yet, so they're gonna get down very easily. And the APC is gonna have a field day because they're only rifles. There's 1 rocket, he could tackle that. No, there's 2. 2 is too much. You can't handle 2 rockets with a single APC. So you're better off just scurrying away. Getting a nice scouting run. He saw the service depot, so no surprises here. I mean, who would go for a radar rush on a map like this? Spoiler alert, I do. I occasionally do that. I did that in one of my Red Alert Global League games yesterday, and it worked out pretty nicely. So we're gonna have a very early Conyard for Happy, who is a, let's say, 4-minute 30 expansion coupled with a bunch of infantry. And WhoCares is a bit behind here in that regard. We're seeing a flank, but there's probably gonna be a base defense deployed not too far away. Yeah, that is gonna sound the retreat horn. WhoCares is sent packing here. Fairly even exchange, all things considered. Nothing out of the ordinary yet. Oh, those killed an engineer. Right, so the engineer, the forensic casting, right? So what happened is the engineer, after capturing the oil derrick, WhoCares tried sending it to the flanks and maybe get a capture on the oil refinery off, but Happy having his scouts in the right place at the right time. Nothing of this happened. None of these shenanigans. That's still an empty APC. Gonna try and get a bit of a read in on his opponent. Gonna find an Engie. Oh, the Engie gets out of dodge. Pretty lucky. So he's gonna go for a block, I guess. Shock troopers are now cheaper but struggle alone versus heavy armor. So that's one of those balance changes. Keep in mind, those are experimental. They're not necessarily gonna get implemented. And yeah, that's the APC trying to get onto the pad, but the harvesters are doing their due diligence here. They are on guard duty. Second harvester, second MCV for Happy. That's a greedy build. Wow. Tier 3 rifleman, right. So we're gonna have a move out by WhoCares, who is gonna try and secure the second flank for himself. One of the smarter positionings here. Yeah, APC is going down as we're speaking. RIP. Pretty not worth it. As we're speaking here, he's deploying his second expansion, and that's a really smart position here. Some people tend to just overestimate the amount of ore that is here. They tend to just deploy here and never grab the second ore or grab it very late. And I really like moving forward and just securing the ore for yourself very early on. That's a sizable army for WhoCares. Couple heavy tanks and a massive infantry push. This can do damage. I really like the tech centers as well, because they give you a lot of security, knowing that nothing is gonna attack from this angle at the current time being. Or at least taking a forward read here. And Happy looks like he's gonna try and push into the Conyard of WhoCares, but it doesn't know. He has no information on the army size, no intel as of now. As those games between those players tend to not go past tier 1 most of the time. Many new players, and they all learned from the StarCraft school of spam. And that's not to say that that's a bad strategy. It works out pretty nicely, but if you're refusing to go for tier 2, you usually have to rely on scouting by chance or scouting by brute forcing. There's gonna be a... Oh wow! That was so lucky. The medium tank got a nice crush in. That was not even on a road. This is gonna be a base push. And I'm curious to see how the new flame towers are gonna fare, because they got their projectile speed increased by a lot. Like 100% more projectile speed increase. The Conyard has to be sent packing right now. WhoCares? That's too late. The residual rockets are gonna kill it. And now he's attacking with a conga line into a big bad front. I'm not sure about this. I am not sold here. The two of the tanks are gonna be a bit late here, but it seems like he's had enough. Yeah, seems like he can breach here. He's gotten enough forces up. And here comes the second dispatch of units. And yep, that's Happy just trying to secure his MCV and expansion. But he lost all of his forces here. Oh, and he's gonna run into a flame tower. Gonna attack the second war factory for WhoCares. So WhoCares is gonna be on a 25% production speed increase for vehicles, which is really good with heavy tanks, because they take a lot of time to build. And that's kind of a waste by Happy. Happy just mindlessly sending his units in like drones. They're just left to die here. Left out to die. RIP. So that's a decisive win for WhoCares at this point, being 25k over 17k assets killed. He should book it. Send his heavy tanks packing. Happy's waypoint was blocked. Oh, his waypoint blocked the barracks placement. No, waypoints are not physical. That's not correct. Waypoints cannot physically interact with anything. They're just an overlay. So whatever it was definitely not the waypoint. Happy's mistaken there. And wow, WhoCares is floating hard. Despite him having 2 war factories, how many racks is he up to? 5. 5 racks, that's actually pretty good. That's a scary vetted up army, look at this. I would really love to see him patch up the heavy tanks, because they're so expensive. But he's gonna be having to deal with a secondary push here. And he doesn't have the forces to respond right now. There is a souped up squad coming in. That's the elite of Russia. Mother Russia's elite coming in. Mother Russia's finest. Just muscling their way through here. Oh, I really like seeing this engagement here. That's so much veterancy, and that's like without a spy, because he's Russia, right? So he cannot get a spy in. So that's legitimately earned veterancy on all of his units. Holy shit. That is pretty stellar. Still though, they wasted a lot of time with the barracks, so they're gonna go down. Unfortunate. That's the way the cookie crumbles. And with that amount of cash, WhoCares should just take. He should take right now. Why isn't he doing it? Needs a secondary refinery as well. Yeah, more and more racks coming in. Racks are a good answer here. But no forces. And is he no, he's not producing. How much is he floating at that time? 13k. He's gonna push back regardless. Wow. Impressive stuff. All the racks and flame towers are giving him like a kind of some sort of leeway to make his infantry move in. And the secondary push got deflected by a single flame tower here. Wow, still not producing though. He needs to ramp up the war factory production. And as for Happy, I would really love seeing a tech match here. But I know I'm not gonna get it from Happy, because Happy is someone who just never techs. Like, at best we're gonna see radar tech. Mark my words. Or, I'm not opting, like, I'm not promising you that I will eat a shoe if I'm not correct, but hey. Yeah, and the new improved flame towers can stand toe-to-toe with pillboxes. Look at this. Seems like the damage to heavy armor got buffed a bit as well. Maybe I'm wrong on that, and they were always good versus heavy armor, I just didn't notice. So considerable losses here for Happy. He has lost his construction yard, and that just gives you a lot of momentum loss. Well, to be fair, both have lost them. The Wall Master at it again. He's taking a page out of Omnom's book here. Walls are so annoying to deal with. You cannot engage into this. It's only rocket soldiers that can breach, like shoot over walls, and it's too hard to breach with other units. So WhoCares is conceding the position for now. He's just content holding on here. And his heavy tanks are rallied into the middle. There's gonna be another push. This doesn't look good for him at the present time. He needs to pull back. Too many rockets coming in. Heavy tank production needs to be fired up. Like, the one thing he's got going for him is the secondary war factory. It didn't go down. And it's still gonna provide him with a 25% boost here. If Happy pushes into the main base right now, there's nothing guarding the service depot, nothing guarding the primary war factory. This could be devastating, but there is a pincer maneuver. Depends on the timing here, but this is going to be a bit nasty. Just slightly brutal. Yeah, the pincer maneuver. Just wiping the army. Let's look at his POV. He's being swarmed. He's being Zerg rushed here by more and more infantry streaming in. And that's what I was talking about. That is the detriment of not taking to tier 2. So you can have those juicy line of sight improving hinds, or in WhoCares case, the Yaks. I would really like to see at least one Yak. Like, now that he's decisively taken 2 engagements, WhoCares is totally free to take up. 3rd war factory though. That is so good. This is gonna be insane heavy tank production. I'd really love to see him patch them up though. Like, those two are limping. They are being held together by a couple nuts, bolts and screws. Is all that keeps them from falling apart. Instead he's trying for a push. Please, tell me he's taking for radar. I would love to see a radar attack. Nope. Not in the cards. Happy deploying walls here, but walls are just gonna serve to make your tanks more vulnerable. Because tanks are having a really hard time finding a flank when there's walls in the game. Period. And the mass is favoring WhoCares by a lot actually. I think the econ tab, yeah, 61 over 59, still fairly even. Excuse me, I've got a sore throat from shouting to my pupils the entire day because they sucked today. Today was one of those days, you know, when everything just goes awry. Anyway, we're gonna have an engagement here, and still, I'd say this favors WhoCares. So much infantry. the density of his infantry here is just scary. Straight up scary. On the other front, Happy has deployed a couple of walls to just prevent him from pushing out. But he has not really made an effort to breach. Like, the Conyard is pretty much undefended. If he manages to sneak a couple medium tanks in, he could take out the Conyard. But hey, does he want to? And that's a massive, massive army. Finally, Radar Dome. Is there... Oh, there's a Radar Dome for Happy, though. And already a helipad. First artillery joining the fight here. So this is going to be massive. We have 8 heavy tanks. 8 heavy tanks, like, that's a number. We're also having a couple flamers mixed in. I like it. The artillery, though, is going to be pretty... like, it's an unannounced artillery. Those are usually the deadliest. So it now depends on the angle. If he goes for engagement now, WhoCares has the edge. He's got so much beef, so much heavy armor. If he goes for the engagement now, he would need to catch the artilleries out of position. Because infantry is good. Well, it's good at being cost efficient. It just dies to artillery. Finally, we're seeing an airfield. I would really love to see a Yak before he engages. There's already a Hind out. Hind is doing some line of sight scouting as well. He sees 8 heavy tanks rolling in. Yeah, still 8. 9 now. And there is a V2 as well, 2 V2s. This is a really good composition. Now he needs to flank those artilleries or they're gonna murder the infantry. He's moving back. Okay, that's smart. See what he's doing here? He's moving out with the heavy tanks and trying to flank the artillery. Really, really good. That's how you deal with them. There are rocket soldiers protecting them though. Maybe crush the rockets. Oh, he got so lucky there. He crushed all the rocket soldiers. 5 at once, a 5 stack. There should have been a scatter command from Happy, but it's hard to miss that, you know. So the heavy tanks are completely unopposed here. They can take out the Conyard and then book it. V2s and flak trucks, so we're seeing a switch up of the composition, and here goes the V2. Lands on a perfectly still MCV. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. At this point in time, it's time to sound the retreat here. He has done the damage, and the infantry is has been just killed off. Very good V2 shot still. Now at this point in time, he needs to pull behind his defensive lines here with the flame tower. There are 2 Yaks. That's a bit ambitious, maybe. Allahu Yakbar? Nah. Okay. The infantry, the descending infantry got crushed by landing on top of a medium tank. That's always a funny bug. Like, visually funny at least. There is more infantry in the southern flanks, and this is going to be interesting. Happy is opting to send lots of rocket soldiers down south. He's trying to raid the eco here. But does he even need to, because there are 2 idle harvesters. And yeah, the Yak is going to provide so much value here. So much line of sight. Gives you time for the V2 rockets to hit, and they're going to hit with pinpoint accuracy. One of the many benefits of artilleries, that they have no scatter at all. They are pinpoint accurate. They need protection from rocket soldiers though, otherwise this happens. Yep. That's a bit annoying. So one of the V2s is getting downed. This is a massive dispatch of infantry, and it's only rocket soldiers. Ouch, ouch. The V2 falling prey to an artillery. So this is a camp, like this is a camp composition, but this is gonna get broken up by V2 so easily. If those V2 hits are good, they're gonna just decimate this this composition here. Let's see. Yeah, bit overkill, but still. Now the Yak can go in and kill 2 artilleries in one swift strike. The dispatch has moved south. There is one more Yak, just do it. This would be such a good target because A. Oh, micro-hit, please! Please! No, 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 no. Shoot the 2. Oh, too bad. Oh, still the V2 gets one of them. So if he had just moved in to kill the artilleries, he could have killed the artilleries with his Yak, and then also get the added benefit of the Yak getting crashed into the infantry blob. Would have been the best bang for his buck here. There is a siege situation happening. And there is a massive, massive blob with flamers. Flamers mixed in to break up the infantry lines. That's good. And yeah, the Yaks are used for artillery hunting. That's exactly the way they're intended to be used. Really like what I'm seeing here. Maybe a second airfield would be good. There are 15 rocket soldiers just waiting. Oh, it's more like 13, but still 12. But still, that's a lot of money. 300 a piece, that's like 3,600 just sitting there. And there's a flame tower, so if they notice, they could push in. But yeah. So we're seeing an engagement onto the main base, and this is the heavy tank prime time because they can go in. There is no rocket soldier at the current time being. Oh, that was a good crash. That was a good crash, and that's what I was talking about. On this map, if you're out of position, you are out of position. And that's one of those situations here. Maybe the War Factory can be sniped. Oh, flamers do so much damage to artilleries. I just found that out a couple games ago. Yeah, so he can snipe the power and then just... he's done the damage, honestly. He has killed all the artilleries. He has not lost much. That's fine. Oh, that's dirty. He's playing Wallmaster again. Happy trying to wall him in here. But he's a bit too slow on the trigger finger. Or also walls now cost you more. They cost 200 and take more build time accordingly. The one thing I still see WhoCares behind in is that he hasn't reclaimed this ore, and he has never gone for. He's never noticed this here. Ouch! 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 Flame tower projectile speed increase, doing a number here. Oh, and that's a power drop onto the service depot. The service depot is going down. Really good power drop here. The support powers of the Russians coming into play. And keep in mind, until the GPS satellite is online, the support powers for the Soviets are way stronger. People are complaining that the Allied mid-game is too strong with the artilleries, but I disagree. I would actually say, like, the support powers, if you can manage to take to Radar Dome without being swarmed and rushed, support powers give you an edge in the mid-game as Soviets. Spy plane, oh, that's nice. The bug where two units are at the service depot at the same time is because one of them is an air unit and the other one is a heavy tank, and air units and ground units don't have collision with each other. So that's why that happens. Like the game flags the service depot as not being in use, something like this. So anyway, the tangent I was going on about is the Allies have the advantage maybe in the super early game with the medics. Then the Soviets take over for the mid game. Oh, nah, that was a bit too ambitious. Soviets take over in the mid game. Oh, this MCV is so out of position. Rest in pepperonis. This is gonna not even take a second salvo from the flamers. Yeah, that was a waste and a half. And now WhoCares is a Conyard up. Wow, Happy's on one Conyard. He is resorting to light tanks because his service depot got sniped. At least for the time being, that's a... And anyway, only in the super late game when the Allies manage to get the GPS satellite up, that's when they become really strong, because artilleries then become powerhouses because they don't need like data anymore. They just need to see the pips, and they delete the pips on the minimap. But until that happens, the Soviets actually have the edge in the mid game. This is a desperation push. Can you get the power though? Really good. The spy plane being used on the push. And there is a Yak. Yakovlev Yak just seeing where the artilleries are coming from. So I'm not expecting much from this push here. Sure, lots of infantry. But the V2s are here. There's a scatter command. Good scatter command. Still, not a single point of damage was inflicted onto the actual main base. Like the structures that actually mattered got away completely unscathed. And that's a beautiful composition here. Heavy tanks in the front lines, a couple specialized infantry with the flamers doing AoE damage, and especially the V2 rockets. The only thing this is susceptible to is Mass Heinz, but yeah, look at the eco. Happy doesn't have the eco right now to spam Mass Heinz. Also, I would really have loved to see him take to tier 3. It's not happening. Instead, we have tier 3 for WhoCares, who has finally managed to get his harvesters back on the assembly lines here. He's also mining from the middle. It's looking so good for him. He's taken so many good engagements. He has used all the advantages of the Soviets to their full extent here. I'm not expecting much from these 3 rocket soldiers. The heavy tanks can soak the damage, and the V2s are here in the backlines just sniping away at their infantry without a care in the world, scot-free. And that was beautiful display. Oh, we had the first Shoutcast coming online, but it didn't happen anymore. The game was over before the Shoutcast hit the field. I would have loved to see the reworked Shoutcast in WhoCares. Yeah, kind of balanced preview. Yeah, and WhoCares wins despite not having this ore patch for the longest time and not having this ore patch for the longest time. Amazing stuff by him, really well played. Especially him using the support powers of the Soviets to their fullest potential. He has scouted, seen that there is nothing protecting the service depot, so he's just sent in a paradrop, which by the way now has ranks. They all come as Vet 1. And the Vet 1 paratroopers just decimated the service depot, so there was no more tech for Happy. Then he had to rebuild, and it cost him a lot of time, a lot of momentum. He had to resort to light tanks. Light tanks suck versus heavy tanks, obviously. It's the way it's intended. And then WhoCares got the upper hand in the middle. He got the advantage, he got the eco lines here, as he established them. Like, look at this, the lifetime earnings are completely bang even, like 3k difference in a 25-minute match. That's not much. It's not too much here. But yeah, the tech, especially the tier 2, giving WhoCares what he needed, the tools that he needed to succeed. And the tier 2 for Happy was kind of a waste. He just went for a couple artilleries, they got sniped by heavy tanks. He went for like 2 or 3 Hinds, they got just easily downed by rocket soldiers. Because there was so much line of sight support from the Yaks. And I really love Yaks. With the rework now, they are so good. This is not just a quality of life change. Yaks have been buffed massively by that line of sight change. Because it used to be that the Shadow was where the line of sight got like originated from. Sorry, the other way around. Used to be the Yak. Now it's the... Wait, no. It's now the Yak. Disregard. It's now the Yak. It used to be the Shadow, so it used to be really, really bad for scouting up north. Because when you would scout up north, your Shadow would be to the south, and you actually would run into AA guns without scouting them. Or just scouting them by one cell, which was obnoxious to say the least, and now it emanates from the Yak, which is how it's supposed to be, and also they got a line of sight buff. Plus they are the second most nimble and fast unit in the game, second only to the MiG, obviously. MiGs are now the best scouts, hands down, but they're like tier 3. Most matches with those players who come from StarCraft don't last until tier 3, because people just spam tier 1, tier 2. And yeah, tier 1 and tier 1.5 usually service depot is as far as it gets. And I really love seeing someone countering this by a smart with a smart composition, with scouting with the Yak, mass V2s protected by heavy tank front lines, and a dispatch of specialized infantry. Good stuff. Happy, like, went for an ambitious build here with the double MCB expansion, but he got punished. That's the way it should be. Amazing game. Thanks to whoever posted this. So Scared posted it just on gamereplays.org. Thanks to him for posting it, and congratulations again for becoming the OpenRA Red Alert Global Balance Officer. Kudos for that. Anyway, that's it for now. Enjoyable match to cast. I'll see you next time. 5 aces. Out.
Battle control terminated.